And what's happening right here at this rally is what actually scares the hell out of the establishment. Everybody from the left, everybody from the right, everybody from the middle coming together to realize that we have more in common than divides us, and we share a common enemy. That enemy is the military-industrial complex and the oligarchy. The same oligarchy that did a controlled demolition of our economy, and then they want me to hate my neighbor for the pain I'm feeling because of that, because they wouldn't take a vaccine that didn't work the way they said it did in the first place. Well, I'm not going to hate my neighbor. I'm going to love my neighbor.
Who thinks this guy should run for president? We should just leave it at this? Or you think we should do another one? Even bigger, right? Even bigger. So we got plans coming up. Just as soon as we got plans, we're gonna share them later about what's coming next. Because this is just the beginning.
Absolutely. All right, take it away, guys.
Next up, we got a very special guy. This is Jackson Hinkle of The Dive, and he's here to tell you why we need to stop this war. Jackson Hinkle!
How's it going, Washington, D.C.? How we doing? Look at all of you. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. We got leftists, we got communists, right-wingers, conservatives, paleo-conservatives, libertarians, Green People Party. We got everyone here today, and you look great. So listen, I know there's a little controversy about me speaking, but the truth is that we are here today because we oppose war and we want peace. It's as simple as that. We want peace with the Russians. We want to build a new multipolar world. We want peace. We want prosperity. We want to lift the global masses out of poverty. That's what we all want, right? But there's a select few. There's a select few who understand that if they take us to World War III, and if they toy around with the idea of mutually assured destruction and nuclear Armageddon and hundreds of thousands of lives being lost, they stand to make a lot of money. So, what I need you all to do from this point onward is to continue this energy you have here today. Fight the information war. Demand not one more bullet, not one more tank, not one more gun, not one more piece of artillery, not one more dollar, not one more penny be sent to the Nazis in Ukraine. Demand peace. Thank you all for being here. Continue this energy.
At the Nord Stream pipeline, Mr. President, Mr. Secretary of State, Mr. National Security Advisor, and Madam Undersecretary of State, and we will not rest until you are held accountable by Congress, by the International Criminal Court, and by the American people at the next election. For your reprehensible conduct, which has debased our Constitution, undermined the rule of law, in our name, committed an act of war which threatened the peace of the world and the stability of our own nation. No amount of balloon militarism will distract us from your profoundly lawless, reckless conduct. Even intelligence professionals are aghast at your White House's incompetence and have lost trust in your ability to defend America. Oh, yes, you want to hold Russia to account. That will ultimately be up to the Russian people. But it is up to we, the American people, to hold you to account. To affirm that we are a nation of laws, not of men or women, to hold those in high office to the highest of standards of national and international law. if we fail to do this, we have only ourselves to blame, while our government descends into depravity and tries to frog march us directly into nuclear war. Under the pretense of the pursuit of national security, our government's aggressive nature has alienated nations of the world and caused them to withdraw from commerce, with long-term implications for the value of our dollar and our financial security. Our government has ceded our sovereignty in matters of commerce to the World Trade Organization.
So I actually think it's great that people can come together and discuss the areas where they disagree. And, we can debate whether or not teenage girls should have to share locker rooms or compete in athletics against biological males another time. Because the reality is, if the people who run this country right now continue down this path, those other questions aren't even going to matter. They're not going to matter. We all know the stakes of this war. I would actually argue that we're already living through World War III. Because the world war that we are going to experience, or that we are experiencing in our generation, is not of the same nature as the world wars past. There's not trenches. The nature of the war is different. The battle is different. It's a hybrid war. They have economic sanctions that they levy as part of this war. They wage a media war through your mind now, not just on the television, but through social media as well. And there's a proxy war. There's a covert aspect, which is what we're seeing play out in Ukraine. Don't think for a minute that it's a war between Ukraine and Russia. It's a war between the United States and Russia. And our leaders openly say it. You've heard them all. The biggest cheerleaders of sending more war to the front line in Ukraine always make this really odd point. They say, no, it actually is a good investment because we can give them the money and they'll fight the war and we don't have to. Haven't you heard that? You've heard them say it over and over again. I heard Hillary Clinton say it. I hear Lindsey Graham make it. And the people who say that, they are so demented because they are openly stating that their whole vision for the war is dependent on their ability to send every last Ukrainian father, son, brother, friend onto the front line. They are happy to fight to the death of the last Ukrainian. The United States is. And so standing here and organizing something like this is actually the real way to stand up for Ukrainian lives, because the war, they're the ones suffering the most. And so that's why it is up to us to be serious about communicating the stakes and the cost. And just to point out one more time that the same system that is responsible for the train derailment in Ohio, where a corporation and the government basically now have nuked an entire U.S. city, is the same system that blew up the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, creating the greatest environmental catastrophe of my lifetime. It's a corporate, oligarchical system. It's a militarist system. It's evil and it's rotten to the core. And when we are clear about those objectives and about the stakes, it's not so hard to put away our differences and to come together and rage against the war machine. So thank you all for doing it. Thank you for letting me speak. Thank you to Nick and Angela once again. And no more war!
No more war! No more war!
Thank you, Anya.
It's time to stand with the people of the Donbass. Stand with the other Ukrainians too. The Russian speakers in the East who are banned from mainstream media airwaves, who've been systematically silenced and erased since the US-backed coup in 2014. So spread the word. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your member of Congress, stop pouring gas on the fire. Stop sabotaging the peace deals. Not a single penny more for these war criminals. Let's have peace for the people of Donbass. It's time for negotiations, not nuclear weapons. Thank you.
Wyatt Reed! So just so everybody knows, of course, and I think everybody does, after this, we're not just going to deliver the anti-war message here. We're going to march to the White House.
I think it's time to tell these pipeline blowing up, Mylar balloon shooting down bastards that we've had enough. I don't think it's complicated. You know, I think it's time to say, look, you have every reason in the world for us to fight amongst ourselves so we can't see what you're doing.
Now, we're here today not because we have anything bad to say about the Ukrainian people. They are suffering. The Ukrainian workers are suffering. The Russians are suffering. This is about the Western Empire that has basically used the military-industrial complex and weaponized it to these endless wars. Julian Assange has given up his freedom to give us that information. When he told us about the 2014, when he published the information about the 2014 coup that was Western-backed, that led to this moment in history that we are now. The Biden administration is taking us to World War III, and we're not going to have it. No. I see the Russian flags out there. Hello, Russia. You are not our enemy. Russia is not our enemy. China is not our enemy. The industrial complex has hijacked the Democratic and Republican Party.